Organizational development and organizational culture are two key aspects that play an important role in the growth and survival of an organization. Both are interrelated, where organizational development aims to improve organizational performance, while organizational culture shapes the values, norms, and behaviors that guide every member in the organization. Definition of organizational development. Organizational development (OD) is a systematically planned process to improve organizational effectiveness, both at the individual, group, and overall organizational levels. This process involves changes in culture, strategy, structure, or processes to create a more innovative, adaptive, and productive environment. Organizational development focuses not only on immediate results, but also on improving the organization's capacity to respond to future changes and challenges. It often involves the role of leaders, training, interventions, and evaluation tools. Objectives of organizational development. Organizational development aims to improve effectiveness and performance, improve performance at all levels of the organization through improved work processes, enhanced communication, and employee empowerment. Increase adaptability to change. Organizational development prepares the organization to be more responsive to external changes, such as market, technological, or regulatory changes. Increases employee satisfaction and engagement. OD processes often include individual and team development, which can increase employee motivation and engagement in achieving organizational goals. Organizational culture development. Reinforcing positive values, norms, and work cultures so that all members of the organization are aligned with common goals. Steps in organization development. Initial diagnosis. The development process begins with identifying problems or challenges in the organization through in-depth diagnostics. This could include employee surveys, interviews, or analysis of operational data. Intervention planning. Once the problem is identified, the next step is to design interventions that can improve the situation. These interventions could be training, workflow improvements, organizational restructuring, or the introduction of new technologies. Intervention implementation. At this stage, the intervention plan is implemented in the organization. This requires the full involvement of leaders and employees. Evaluation and measurement. After the intervention, the next important step is to evaluate the impact of the change. Performance measurements and employee satisfaction are used to assess whether the development goals have been achieved. Reinforcement and improvement. Organizational development is a continuous process. Hence, evaluation results are used to reinforce successes or improve aspects that still require improvement. Approaches to organizational development. Behavior-based approach focuses on changing individual and group behavior. This often involves training in interpersonal skills, communication, conflict management, and leadership development. Structural approach involves changes to the organizational structure such as restructuring departments, changing the chain of command, or introducing new roles that better suit the strategic needs of the organization. Process approach focuses on improving business and operational processes to increase efficiency and productivity, such as implementing lean management or agile methods. Technology approach leverage new technologies to improve organizational capabilities. This could be the adoption of new information technology, automation, or management systems to support organizational operations. Challenges in organizational development. Resistance to change. Change is often uncomfortable, and individuals or groups within the organization may resist change because they feel a loss of control or face uncertainty. Lack of employee involvement. Organizational development requires the active involvement of all parties, from management to employees. Lack of engagement can hinder change implementation. Limited resources. The process of organizational development can require a large investment of time, money, and effort. Definition of organizational culture. Organizational culture is the system of values, beliefs, norms, and practices shared by members of an organization and guides how they interact with each other and with external parties. This culture influences how employees work, how decisions are made, and how the organization faces challenges. Organizational culture is often thought of as the personality of an organization, which affects not only individual behavior but also the overall performance of the organization. Key elements of organizational culture: values and beliefs. Core values embraced by the organization such as innovation, collaboration, sustainability, or integrity. These are the principles that determine behavior and decision-making. Norms and rules. Norms that are unwritten but understood by all members of the organization regarding accepted or expected behavior. For example, a culture of mutual respect, openness, or teamwork. Symbols and artifacts. Physical or symbolic aspects that reflect an organization's culture, such as logos, work attire, office layout, and company rituals such as celebrating achievements or giving awards. Language and communication. The way the organization communicates, both formally and informally, also reflects the culture. This includes specialized terms, ways of speaking, or communication styles used in meetings. Types of organizational culture. Collaborative culture encourages cooperation, trust, and a sense of family. In organizations that have this culture, teamwork is highly valued, and decision-making is often collective. Innovative culture focuses on creativity and innovation. Organizations with this culture often encourage employees to think outside the box, take risks, and innovate. Competitive culture encourages competition and high performance. Organizations that have a competitive culture often focus on results, targets, and speed. Controlling culture, more hierarchical and structured, with a focus on procedures, rules, and stability. Decisions tend to be made by top management and followed by members of the organization. The importance of organizational culture. Organizational culture has a very important role in various aspects, including increasing employee engagement. Employees who work in an environment that has a culture that aligns with their personal values tend to be more motivated and engaged. Influences organizational performance. A healthy culture can improve organizational performance by creating an environment that supports innovation, collaboration, and effective decision-making. Builds organizational identity. Organizational culture gives a company a unique identity, which differentiates it from other organizations. This is important both for attracting new talent and for maintaining the loyalty of existing employees. Organizational culture management and change. Organizational culture is not static. As the organization evolves and the external environment changes, the culture can and needs to evolve as well. The process of managing organizational culture includes efforts to maintain positive values, as well as changing aspects of the culture that do not support the long-term success of the organization. Identifying the current culture. The first step in managing cultural change is to understand the current culture. This can be done through surveys, interviews, or observations of employee behaviors and values. Articulating the desired culture. The organization needs to define what kind of culture it wants and how it will support the long-term strategy. This involves establishing a clear cultural vision. Changing mindset and behavior. Culture change requires a change in the mindset and behavior of individuals. This can be done through training, examples set by leaders, and incentives that support the desired behaviors. Leaders as change agents. Leadership has a key role in leading culture change. Leaders must model the desired values in the new culture and encourage employees to follow suit. Organizational culture is one of the most essential elements in shaping the identity and workings of a company or organization. In more depth, this culture consists of values, norms, beliefs, and practices upheld by members of the organization. Here is a more detailed explanation of organizational culture. Value system, beliefs, and norms here refers to the basic principles that become the foundation for the way members of the organization think and act. This system is internalized in each individual so that it affects the way they interact, both inside and outside the organization. In other words, organizational culture acts as the unwritten rules that govern how individuals should behave. The practices that emerge from these values and norms lead to concrete actions in the work environment. For example, sustainability values. In an organization that upholds sustainability, every decision, such as waste management or resource use, is made with environmental impact in mind. Collaborative beliefs. If the organizational culture strongly supports teamwork, then individuals within the organization will find it easier to prioritize collaboration on joint projects over working individually. Influence of organizational culture on performance and decision-making. Organizational culture influences many aspects, from the way of working to the decision-making process. For example, in a culture that is open and supports two-way communication, strategic decisions may involve more input from different levels of employees, compared to a more hierarchical organization where decisions are made in a top-down manner. The culture also affects the way the organization deals with external challenges. In a flexible and innovative culture, organizations tend to be better prepared for market or technological changes, as individuals are encouraged to always look for creative solutions. Conversely, in a more bureaucratic culture, the organization may be slow to adapt to change because it is too focused on rules and procedures. Key elements of organizational culture: values and beliefs. Core values are fundamental principles that the organization upholds. Examples of values include integrity, innovation, sustainability, or customer-centric. These values influence every aspect from how the organization operates to how employees are expected to act. They also serve as the basis for the organization's policies and strategies. Norms and rules. Norms are unwritten rules that are collectively understood by the members of the organization. They can include things like openness in communication, professionalism in work, or mutual respect between members. Norms can vary by role or department, but in general they shape expectations of daily behavior. Symbols and artifacts. Symbols are physical representations of organizational culture, such as logos, office design, dress code, and internal rituals like annual meetings or employee awards. These artifacts often serve to reinforce identity and clarify the values upheld in the organizational culture. For example, a tech company that encourages innovation may have an open and flexible workspace to encourage collaboration. Language and communication. The language used in organizations often reflects the culture. For example, terms like customer-centric or agile are often adopted in organizations that are customer-focused and quick to adapt. Communication styles, whether formal or informal, also reflect the values of that culture. Importance of organizational culture. Organizational culture has a wide-ranging impact on various aspects: employee engagement. Employees who feel that the values of the organization align with their personal values tend to be more motivated and engaged. Organizational performance. A positive culture creates a work environment that supports innovation, productivity, and collaboration, which ultimately improves organizational outcomes. Organizational identity. A strong culture creates a unique identity, which can attract new talent as well as keep existing employees loyal.